Hey everybody, so I'm back on here, a little frazzled. We're going to go ahead and get started because this is going to be a snippet live, meaning we're going to get right into the tutorial here, and then if anybody jumps on, if they have any questions or comments or anything like that, we will get to that, or I'll answer those at the end. But I just wanted to start with getting right into the tutorial here. So what we are going to be making this evening are these blankets. And these are blankets. I bought these, I'm not even sure where I can't remember the lady's name. So it was kind of a, not really a buy-in. Somebody had just bought a bunch of them and was selling them. Originally, when I first started making these, I was buying these blankets at Walmart. And they were like $8.88 a piece, and you had no problem finding them. Then all of a sudden they got really scarce, and then you couldn't find them at all. They were sold out online everywhere else. Well, now they've started popping back up in like buy-in groups, or some of these people, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of vendors selling them. I don't have a really good source for them right now. I'll check with the lady that I got them from, because I believe I had bought the last of them. But I'll check and see if I can't find kind of a good source for you guys. But I think somebody's going to be carrying them. Like I said, you can find them in these buy-in groups and so forth. You just got to look a little bit. But these are like a fleece blanket. And I sell quite a few. I'm not going to say I sell hundreds of them by any means. But I sell quite a few of them in my vendor booth. And the most popular one is the one that says, "This is my camping blanket." Okay, so I have my press set at 385. So as long as you're around 380, 385, you're fine. You can probably even do 400, but I like the 380, 385. Okay, so the reason I'm holding this blanket up is I like to put my design down in the corner, holding it by the long end. So I'm holding up my long end here. I'm finding my corner. I know this is going to be my corner. So I'm going to put this down on the press here. Now the first one I just did, I screwed up and I put it short ways. So the way I like it is, if I'm laying or sitting on the couch and I have my blanket on me, I want that image down here on my bottom left corner. So not facing it, you know, this way. It's laying on me. I see it down here in my bottom left corner. That's just my preference. You can put your design wherever you want on these blankets. Okay, so what I'm doing is, you'll notice I don't have a cover sheet down because I've never, ever had the ink bleed through the blanket, because it is a little bit thicker material. And the image is going to be smaller, so I don't really have to worry about blowout. So I just try to stick my blanket with the corner, got my corner here, down here on the press. And I just have a little bit hanging over. I try to get it, you know, somewhat even here. But to be honest, these blankets aren't sewn evenly, so you're not going to get it like perfectly even. Okay, and then you need about a medium pressure, nothing crazy. So here is my design, and this is my camping blanket. And what I do with most fabric things that I press is I like to tear the edges. So you saw me do this if you watched the t-shirt video on how I make my t-shirts. So I'm just going through and I'm quickly tearing the edges. That way you don't have a sharp line. Although I will say I'm not really sure this is necessary with these blankets, because they do have a bit of a texture to them anyway. But I just, out of habit, I just do it. So we are doing it here. Okay. So there we go. So what that does, it just softens the edge so you don't have a harsh line on where your press, you know, pushes down. And if it's a sharp edge, it kind of cuts into the image and it leaves the line. Okay, so I'm just sticking this down here in the corner. Let me get a cover sheet. Now, if you notice, I'm not spraying it, I'm not taping it, but I'm just going to put my protective paper over it. Okay. And again, I'm at says 386. I'm going to do it for 60 seconds. And it's just a medium pressure, nothing heavy. Okay. Now, I've talked about it before, but see this cover sheet? See how it's hanging down past the press here? And it's hanging down on both sides. So when I go to lift up my press, if I didn't have this big of a sheet, if I had a smaller piece of paper covering my image, when I lift up my press, there's a good chance that the air will kind of rush through there and it can shift your paper a little bit and you get ghosting. But so far, I don't usually get ghosting doing this because this is down, hanging down, so the air's not going to come up underneath there. And when I do lift it, you're going to see me lift it gently. I'm not just going to rip that thing open, you know. I'm going to kind of gently pull it open. Because if you do it in a real jerky motion, then you're more likely to shift your paper. So we just have a couple more seconds here. Okay, see? Nice and easy. Now these are hot. Hot, 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 hot. But let me show you the corner here. Okay, so can you guys see that? So you get some really nice colors with it, really. And even the yellow. With this being kind of a gray, and there's some darker gray in here. Look at your colors. You still can even tell that this is yellow. Okay. So anyway, and then what I mean by, you know, if I'm laying down on the couch and I have this covering me up, I want my image down here on the lower left. So again, that part is just purely preference. Wherever you want to put the image, you can. So this has been, like I said, my most popular blanket. I also do the closer to Christmas. I'll do, you know, this is my Christmas movie watching blanket. I've seen them do, I haven't done it myself yet, like TikTok. This is my TikTok watching blanket. But even getting away from that, now I did make several that were our like school logo. So it had like the big warrior head on it, and then it had the student's last name and number. So think outside of this is my whatever blanket. You can also do it with sports. So you can put your kids' sports teams on there, personalize them, what have you. As far as pricing goes, I sell these for $28. They cost me about 10 bucks shipped, and I sell them for $28. You saw it took me like a minute to press it. It's an easy press. So again, probably some of you could get more. Even when they first started selling these blankets, some people were selling them for $35, $40. I just cannot get that kind of price around here, but you know, perhaps you can. But anyway, I think it was Nikki maybe that said in one of her lives that people are going to start going to more practical purchases at Christmas. And you know, I don't know if that's true or not. Makes sense, you know, if you don't have a whole lot of money to spend at Christmas, and probably most of us won't with the way prices are going, it does make sense to pick something a little more practical. You know, a blanket is something that you can keep, you can use it, just a practical item, right? They do wash well. My daughter, I've made her some for their camper. They use them all the time. They wash well. It's a nice, I don't want to say a summer blanket, but maybe if you're sitting in the house and your husband likes it, you know, the air conditioning a little cooler than you, or in our house, it's me because of all the hot flashes. I like it a little cooler than Steven. But it's heavy enough that it feels like a blanket, but it's light enough not to be too heavy, if that makes sense. It's not like those little rolled up fleece blankets that you buy at Walmart for $4 or $5 now. You know, that they're just a thin piece of fleece is all it is. This has a little more substance to it. So anyway, they are just kind of nice blankets. I sell, like I said, quite a few with the camping design on there. And I'm going to start trying like the TikTok designs. You know, this is my TikTok watching blanket, and we'll see if that goes. I'll report back to you guys on that one. And like I said, at Christmas time, I do sell quite a few that will say, you know, this is my Christmas movie watching blanket. Okay, Angie, where did you find the blankets? I bought them from a lady who was selling them on Marketplace. So, and I know I had bought the last of what she had. So I need to find a source for you guys, but be on the lookout for them, because you will see different vendors. Sometimes these like buy-in vendors where it's like a buy-in group, and then maybe they'll get extras and they put them on their website. I've seen them pop in and out of those groups. They go pretty fast. So keep an eye out for them. And again, if I can find you a good source for them, I will. I'll let you know. Yeah, they really are nice blankets. They make a nice gift. Just like I said, think outside of this is my blanket kind of thing. And you put the sports on there, or if you got little kids, you know, whatever their favorite thing is. You've got dinosaurs and unicorns and maybe a certain character, although we don't do copyright, right? Anyway, but just things that whatever your kids are into, so they would make a nice gift for kids as well as adults. Beth says it looks like a light sweatshirt material. It's heavier than like a hoodie, I feel like, you know what I mean? It's a thicker, maybe a little bit thicker than like a hoodie, but kind of close to that. But definitely thicker than the fleece blankets that you buy for a few bucks at Walmart. Let's see here. Let's see if I had any more questions. Okay, Judy White says, my grands love their blankets. I made them. The center, I used a crossword puzzle for their name. It was their winter car blankets. Now that's a good idea. So that's what I'm saying. Don't get stuck on, this is my so-and-so watching blanket. You can put all sorts of designs on these. It doesn't even have to, you know, for adults as well as kids. Maybe you're into, you know, gardening. Maybe you're into whatever. I'm sure Stephen Carlos would probably love it if I put his dog's picture on the blanket. He's nuts about his dogs. He likes his dogs better than me. Okay, so does anybody have any other questions? So again, it was a quick press. Again, I did not put any cover paper on my bottom. I normally do for most items. This I didn't, and one of the reasons I don't is because I do have Teflon on here. And so it's easier for me to kind of move the blanket around and get it where I need it positioned if I don't have a cover sheet on it already. And I really don't feel like I need the cover sheet. The ink does not come through. You know, there's not any ink here. I've never had it bleed through. And your print is going to be smaller than, you know, the blanket, so you don't have to worry about the blowout. So definitely cover over, but I don't put any paper underneath it. And again, I pressed it around 385, so anywhere from 380 to 400, depending on your press. Just kind of a medium pressure, and 60 seconds, and you're good to go. Hopefully there'll be some money makers for you. And again, I'll keep an eye out for a good source for them. If somebody here finds a good source, let me know, and we'll get it posted. But thank you for watching. Bye-bye.